how to talk hypnotically. And you are someone who wants to truly make an impact in your clients' lives. You're a hypnotherapist and coach, or even a therapist. And what you want to do is have a conversation with your clients and their life completely changes after that. I know that's very cliche, but that is 100% possible if you apply these principles and master it. And if you're here thinking that you're going to watch this to manipulate someone in authoritative ways of you wanting to have them do something for you, fuck off. This is not what you're going to learn here. Okay. And so a lot of the times what you will most likely learn from conversational approaches to hypnosis and non-therapeutic approaches is how to like, as a hypnotist, what things are you going to say? What words are you going to say? How are you going to make a show out of your voice in order for you to really get your client's attention? We are putting that shit aside because that is not what creates therapeutic breakthroughs. And so, if you want to have a conversation with your client and their life changes, it involves many things, right? It involves many things. It involves knowing what question to ask, when to ask it, the right context. But really, if you apply this one principle, you're going to get closer to that. And this is really just the principle of curiosity, being curious as you're asking your clients questions. We can get very investigative FBI agent type, like in our sessions, but when we approach it with curiosity, that is what makes you hypnotic. That is what truly helps a client's lives. A life. Imagine just going into your session and asking your client a question and then them really opening up the possibilities in their mind and removing the blocks that they've had for decades and decades. I remember this approach. I was talking to a colleague, actually. It was a colleague, it's completely conversational. I was talking like this because this is how I would talk in a normal conversation, not like language pattern shit, right? And I just felt like asking her this question, right? She was so conflicted between these two things. And I asked her a question, and then she like just went like this. And then she was like, oh my God, I had never considered that before. And then, a day after, she's like, I am so glad we talked. I am so happy, blah, 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 blah. And that really just makes you feel good, right? I didn't have to prepare a script. I didn't even know I was going to ask the question until I asked it. But really, what I did there, not only was I curious, but I was actually really actively listening to what she said. And because I was truly connected to her, because I had no agenda for myself, I had no expectations with regards to what to say to her. I really was genuinely curious as to how she was stuck between these two decisions that she was going to make. Asked her the question, and that was the question that actually changed things for her. If you're asking me what that question was, I'm not going to tell you because, to be honest, I don't remember. I don't remember it. It was a completely unconscious question that came out of me unconsciously because the context called for it. And this is exactly how we have our hypnotic questioning sessions. It's a very highly advanced conversational skill, but really it is nothing without curiosity and actively listening. So if you're really just actively listening to the person in front of you, you don't have your phone, like you're not doing this asking questions. You are literally just in them and you're listening and you're just wondering and you're being curious. The natural creative questions are going to come out naturally. And those questions are going to be the exact questions that your clients need to hear at that moment in time, that they need to answer in order for them to get rid of the indecision, the decades and decades of blocks and limiting beliefs. It can be so simple and as easy as that when you apply these principles. And again, this is easier said than done. This is why we train. This is why it is a training, because not many trainings train like this, but this is the way forward in the world. I don't know about you, but there's been a lot of disconnect in the world, right? A lot of people really value that genuine connection. And this is what you get to give them if you apply these principles. So therefore, if you want to be a hypnotic person therapeutically, um, hypnotic person who has conversations and it really makes a big impact in the person and they'll remember you forever, stick with these simple principles of being curious and actively listening and trusting that you have the exact question that the client needs at that moment in time.